Hello and welcome to Hand-Eye Craft. In this video I'm going to be entering into uncharted waters, trying out some new techniques I've never done before. The idea is I'm going to take this live edge piece that I got off eBay actually for, I think it was £24, and I'm going to turn it into a tabletop for like a small table, coffee table sort of thing. It's a piece of oak, salvaged oak, and I'm going to be running an epoxy resin river through the middle of it. Well, that's the plan anyway. I've been looking at various videos on YouTube. A guy in the UK, Manor Wood, some of the stuff he produces, furniture as well as epoxy stuff, is absolutely incredible. And there's a guy over in the US called Blacktail Studios, and I've been following some of his videos as well. Looking at some of his ideas, and I'm just really intrigued. I think the stuff looks fantastic, and I'm just wondering, can I do it myself? Now obviously when I watch those guys, the setup they've got, both of them, is absolutely, incredible. The drum sanders, the huge wide belt, the thickness of planers and stuff. So I'm trying to see if I can not get to that standard, but replicate something that I'd be really happy with, because this is for me, this is for myself in the house. Whether I can reproduce in that style on a very limited budget with my limited workshop tools. The plan is with this piece, really happy with this piece actually. It arrived, I think it looks great, is I'm going to leave this live edge on that, just going to tidy that up with some sanding. I'm going to square up the back and the sides on this, just in case it needs to go against the wall or go in for a corner, into a corner if I need to move it. They're slightly different heights. I'll take a picture to show you the difference. So I'm going to tidy them up. I'm going to run them through the thicknesser to get it on the heights level, and then I'm going to build the I've got some sheets of, I think it's propylene, I think it is, it's the non-stick stuff, so I'm going to build a little surround for that, and then weight these down and sort out the epoxy, which I'm going to go with an emerald green kind of colour. I think it will complement the wood really nice, to run that through the middle. Hopefully it'll work, and then finish it off with some sanding. It's the first time I've done anything like this. I'm going to film it all the way through the process, and for good or for bad, I'm going to put it out there at the end, so if I make any mistakes I can sort of talk my way through them, or my little pop-ups in the bottom left hand corner. So let's get started, and I hope you enjoy it. I'd say we're pretty much at the end of the first stage now, in terms of the wood preparation. The oak has come absolutely fantastic. Comparing it to how it looked before, I've got a similar piece of wood from another one that I purchased, and to look at the difference between the two, having run it through the thicknesser, is I'm very, very happy with that. So I've not done any sanding on this yet, apart from just the two pieces on the inside, which I've run over with some 100 grit. Don't want to make it too smooth. I'm guessing slight bit of roughness on it will help the epoxy bond a little bit better. The next stage for me now is to build the polypropylene casing to go around. I've looked at a few of Andy's videos on Manor Wood to get some ideas for that, so that's the next stage. And then to prepare the resin for the pour. I'm confident really I can get away with one pour, because it's just measuring it up there, it's just over 25 millimeters, so I think that should be okay. So I'm going to crack on with getting the polypropylene casing sorted, and then possibly today getting the actual resin pour done as well. Stick with me. Okay, we've reached the stage where I think I'm ready to put the casing together, the polypropylene casing together, to make everything ready for the resin pour. My idea is I've cut some pieces of timber to go around the outside, kind of like so, something along those lines. And I'm going to line the inside of these with some bits of polypropylene that are cut on the table saw. I'm going to hot glue them to that, so on, down the side, probably screw them together to get it nice and solid. And then on the inside of the lines, on the inside part there, I'm going to run some decorator's cork along, just to try and form a good seal. This bit's going to be a little bit interesting, because if I'm being brutally honest, I hated using these things when I had two working hands, never mind one, so but I'm gonna give it a go. Gonna film the whole thing, I'm just gonna leave it running, and in the edit I'll stick it in Benny Hill mode to see if it to show you the whole thing and see if it works out okay. So here we go. All right. on the whole, I'm really happy with how that's gone. I've just got one tiny concern, is on this side we're looking, I mean it's fractions, it's maybe like half a millimetre below the line of the wood, and on here, so I've put some more in, but here's a bit of an overflow. I've just checked with me rubbish level and it's so fractionally tilted. So what I think I'm going to do is just try and get a little bit of a shim under the polypropylene sheet, just a fraction, just to see if I can raise it up a little bit and see if that'll level it out, and then I'm going to leave it to cure. Right, well, I started the sanding yesterday and it's going okay. I think the wood's coming up really kind of nice, and I managed to get it down where it was kind of a bit of an overspill over this side on the resin. However, there are a couple of things I'm not happy about. I was alright originally with this part. It comes down so we have a tiny slight little lip here, which at first I thought was okay, but the more I think about it, the idea of putting a glass or something nice on it and it slightly tilting and someone reaching for it, I'm not happy about that at all. And also there's there's this on the other side, which alright, you can say it's the underneath and nobody's really going to see it, but I will and I'll know. So I have made a decision to take the track saw out and I'm going to cut off approximately about this much to then run it through the thicknesser on both sides to get away from the no amount of sanding is going to get rid of that little lip there and get it down. And then I'm going to take my little dowel jig thing that I bought, which I used on a previous video, and then glue these two pieces back together, because my thicknesser will only take, it says 13 inches, but when I put some sacrificial boards on the side, it's more like 12. So that's the plan for this morning. Hopefully it's going to go okay, but we will see. Okay, we're kind of getting towards the final stages of this tabletop. It seems to have taken me forever. Well, it has. It's taken ages, but it's been a kind of enjoyable kind of process. Really learning a lot about how to use resin with wood. I've sanded the wood to around 400 grit, and the resin I've taken to, I think it was 2000 grit, just to try and get it as fine as I can. Before I'm going to go with the finish, I'm going to apply a polish to the resin to try and get it as as clear, not as clear, but as kind of fine, and take as much of the scratches off as I can. I cleaned up the top. I was looking on the best way to take sawdust off before applying a finish, and people say microfiber cloths, which I've been using, but I was unsure about water because of the water raising the grain, but also potentially soaking into the wood. So I've had this stuff for a while, so I've used in like an alcohol kind of spray. Whether that's right or not, I'm not sure, but I'm thinking the alcohol will evaporate and not soak into the wood. So it seems to have done okay with that. I've left it to dry for about half an hour. Now I'm going to go with this NW1 white paste that I got from Easy Composites. It was expensive. I think it was about £30, but a little goes a long way. This stuff seems, I think it'll last forever. So I'm going to apply some of that to the resin, and I've got like a little polishing pad thing on my combi drill. We're going to go with that, and then it'll be looking to apply the finish to go overall, and I think that would be about it. So let's get on with getting the polish on, and then we'll look at applying the finish. Right, we're at the final stage now. I have done all the polishing on the resin, which has come up fantastically well. I'm really happy with that, and I've actually already done the final coating on the underside. I decided to go with this Heidelberg Pro Lignum. It's like a hard wax oil combination. I watched Andy from Manor Wood's shop talk video from a couple of Sundays ago, where he talks about all the different finishes he's used in the past, or the ones he currently uses, and I was particularly intrigued to see which ones he does to go over the resin and the link between the wood and the resin. In the end, he recommended this one as the one his go-to one at the moment. So I got in touch with the company. I'll put a link to it in the description. It's obviously based in Germany, but there's a UK distributor now. The guy I dealt with, a guy called Robert, was absolutely fantastic. Really nice guy. Communication was brilliant. So I'm going to actually just go with a wipe on. I'm probably going to give it 2 coats. I'm just going to wipe it on with a lint-free cloth and see how it comes up.